Hey kids, Miss Jess here from the Rye Youth Council. I miss seeing everybody at Milton so much. I am so sorry that our time together got cut short this year. I had so many other things that I wanted to talk to you about. But the most important thing is that we're all safe, healthy, and well, and I hope that you all are and your families are too. Today, I want to take a minute to talk to you about bullying and what bullying actually is. Bullying is when someone does a mean or hurtful behavior to another kid and they do it over and over and over again. And what are some mean and hurtful behaviors? Bullying behaviors, hurtful behaviors, could be physically hurting somebody. It could be teasing someone or taunting them. It could be leaving someone out all the time. And then we have cyberbullying, when someone says something, types something, or takes a picture and posts it online. Or if you're playing an online video game and someone is being rude and making you uncomfortable. The biggest thing that a bully is always looking for is a reaction. A bully wants to see you get upset. They want to see you get angry. They want to see you lose your patience, cry, feel left out. And it's really an unfortunate situation to be in. And I'm sure you all agree. Because if you haven't been bullied, chances are you've seen somebody else be bullied. Bullying is like meanness pollution. Not only does bullying affect the person who's being bullied, it affects everybody who sees it, because seeing bullying happening is very uncomfortable. It affects the person's parents because they worry about their child. It affects teachers. It affects your siblings, your brothers and sisters. Nobody wants to know that their brother and sister is getting picked on at school. They may pick on you, but no one else is allowed to because they're protective of you. And that's actually a really beautiful and important thing. But sometimes when we're being bullied, it's easier to handle it when we understand a little bit about the bully themselves. So let's think about it. What makes a bully a bully? When you think about a baby being born, right? A bully, you're not born into the world a bully. So what are some of the things that make someone treat other people in a hurtful way over and over and over again? Sometimes a bully is a kid who's been bullied themselves, and now they feel like they want to bully other people because they want to make sure they don't get bullied, so they choose to be the bully. Sometimes kids are going through things at home that we don't know about. They have struggles. That doesn't mean it's okay for them to treat you poorly, but they're acting it out by treating you poorly. It helps a little bit to understand that. Other times, bullies are really insecure kids who don't know how to feel big on their own, and they feel that if they could put someone else down or make someone else feel really small, it might make them feel bigger. Kind of crazy, but it's the truth. And sometimes kids don't even realize they are bullying. They simply just don't know how to talk to other kids, or they don't realize what they're doing. That doesn't make it okay, and doesn't make it, doesn't mean we should let them off the hook, but it helps to understand that people who are bullying are suffering. They're going through something. And when we understand that, that gives us a sense of power through compassion. Compassion is where we have caring for somebody. And it takes a really big person to care for a bully. But it also helps us to understand that it's not our fault, that there's nothing really wrong with us. Anybody who treats someone else hurtfully or treats us in a hurtful way has something going on with them. And when we know that, it helps us to relax a little bit and think about what to do next. So here are a few things you can try. I like to think of this as the anti-bullying toolbox. Not every tool that I'm going to show you or talk to you about is going to help in every situation. Sometimes you got to try different tools to see what works. And other times you have to put tools together to see what works. It's all about giving things a shot. But that's okay, because we're up for the task, so let's look at it. If someone's taunting you or bullying you, one of the things that we can talk about is ignoring the bully, right? Just not paying them any mind, not giving them any attention. This sometimes is kind of hard to do. But if you keep at it, as hard as it is, eventually the bully might stop. Because what's happening is they're not getting the reaction from you. If a bully doesn't see you get angry, mad, or upset, or cry, After a while, they probably will stop, but it might take a really long time. And that's okay. If you can do this, it's a really great thing. Another thing is that lots of times bullies tend to pick on people who are on their own, or they try to make that person on their own. They isolate them. So one of the things we can do is get a buddy or be a buddy for someone. So if I know that at lunchtime there's one kid who keeps giving me a really hard time, maybe I could pair up with a friend and say, hey, Chris, do me a favor. Can we hang out at lunch today? That girl over there or that boy has been giving me a really hard time and I could really use a friend. We can ask. We can also offer. Like, hey, Miss Jess, I noticed that you were having a hard time on the playground yesterday. Why don't we hang out together today at lunch and see if we can't make things a little bit more comfortable? So that's something that we can always think about to do. Another idea is to stand tall and be brave. Stand up for yourself. Sometimes when we listen to a bully enough, or someone's taunting us enough, we can start to wear down and feel really bad about ourselves, and we forget that we have a voice. And if you can remember that voice and you can stand up for yourself and be firm and clear and respectful, right? We don't want to hurt the other person's feelings. We don't want to be a bully ourselves. But just, hey, stop that. That's not cool. I don't like when you speak to me that way. This doesn't work for me. How I'm talking isn't being nasty, but it's being firm and it's saying what I need. And that's really important, and it's a really good skill if you can do that. And it's really good to not only stand up for yourself, but to be an upstander and stand up for other people too. A bystander is someone who stands by and watches the bullying happening. An upstander is someone who steps up to the bully and speaks up in defense of somebody else. Another thing, which I think we all are aware of, is that we can tell an adult. If you're feeling uncomfortable and it's going on for too long and you've tried all these tools, or even just one or two of them, it's definitely okay to get an adult involved, to step in. But sometimes I like to encourage you to do some of those other things first and see if you can't stand up for yourself or ignore the bully or deal with it on your own. Because unfortunately, guys, bullying happens all throughout our lives. And if we can work on it now, then as we get older, it'll be that much easier. So now we have a little bit of a toolbox to help against bullying behaviors, at least more at school, or whether we're at a sporting event at some point, or at any time in our lives. Something I would like us to start thinking about, though, are the times when we're not modeling our best behavior to our classmates, our friends, and our family. Let's face it, we're not perfect. We have our moments. And it's really important to think about when we too might be giving off a bullying behavior. Let's face it, sometimes we leave other kids out, right? Sometimes we're not our best selves and we yell at somebody else, or maybe we're teasing someone because we're getting a laugh and we're not realizing how upset they are. So I want to make sure we really think about how we treat others. And if someone comes to us upset and stands up for themselves or has an adult talk to us, that we really stop and think about, how we're behaving. Are we being our best selves? It is so important to include other people when we're at school, especially on the playground. Nobody wants to be left alone. And if you ever see a child playing on their own and off by themselves, I strongly encourage you to go up to that kid and say, hey, come play with us. Let's play together. Sometimes kids, when they're off on their own, they're not sitting on the buddy bench, but they're kind of off on their own because they're not sure who to play with, or maybe they feel uncomfortable. And it's such a great time for you to be a good fellow citizen and to walk up to that person and just be a caring individual and say, come on, let's play, and brighten their day. It'll brighten your day too. The next time we meet, we're going to talk about rumors and gossip and how they too can be bullying behaviors. And I take a minute to read you guys one of my favorite short stories, Mr. Peabody's Apples. It's a great way to talk about rumors, and if you haven't read it already, I think you're going to like it as well. So I look forward to seeing you next time. Bye!